Buying your dream car is a lot easier than you think. I know because I did it twice for myself and once for my wife. And now let's clear up a few elephants in the room. One, these are not that crazy of cars. We have a G80 M3, a GR Supra. I mixed those two up, but you guys still get what I'm saying. Yeah, these are not Lamborghinis or Ferraris or McLarens, but still, these are amazing cars. To some people, including myself, these are dream cars. And I think with that, a lot of people will message me and they'll ask me how I'm able to afford these cars. What should I do to get one? And how can you make it make sense? Now look, I will say for a lot of people, these cars won't make sense until a lot of things change in your life, unfortunately. People kind of assume that I just woke up and started driving these cars. I started off with a base model Civic, not even an SI. I started off with a Civic LX, which I drove for 10 years. I waited until I was more financially stable and I started to buy some of my quote unquote dream cars, starting off with a BMW 435. Now look, even that Civic in a way was a dream car, so there's kind of levels to this, but just, you know, take everything with a grain of salt. So don't watch this video and think if you're working at McDonald's and you're 16 years old, you can afford one of these cars. Unfortunately, that's just not realistic and I'm not gonna sell you guys lies. However, if you're in a better spot, there's ways that you can make buying these cars make more sense. Like for me, for example, I have a college degree, I have a master's degree, I have a full-on career. I am not exactly young anymore, my age starts with a 3, but there's things that I did to make owning these cars make more sense. So I'm gonna share that with you guys. Now there's gonna be a few different categories. All these cars are kind of in a different situation. So we're actually gonna start with the X5 because I think that's going to apply to most people buying these cars. And that's gonna be buy used. Don't buy new, it is a bad decision. If it's not obvious already, guys, these new cars lose so much value in the course of a year or two. It just doesn't make sense. Let somebody else eat the depreciation and then you jump on when the car is already depreciated. So this X5 that I'm sitting in right now, this is my family car. You guys can probably see the car seats in the back. This thing new, and I have the window sticker, so I'll show you guys exactly how much this thing was worth. This thing new was about $71,000. Can you guys see the number? Hopefully. $71,600. That's before taxes, that's before anything. I bought this car with 36,000 miles roughly, and I paid about 45. So almost half. So for additional context, I bought this thing in 2024. This is a 2021. And the reason why I was able to buy this for even cheaper is because the LCI came out. That's a big hint, especially for BMWs or pretty much any car. BMW will make these cars, design them in a certain way, and then a few years later, they'll make an LCI, pretty much like a slight redesign, not a complete redesign. Like the X5, they changed the taillights, they changed the bumpers, but otherwise it's the same chassis, same engine. So once those LCIs come out, the pre-LCIs lose a lot of value because especially for X5s and more luxurious cars, people want the newest thing. So if you're willing to take a bit of a hit on the newest thing, you can get these things for significantly less than what they cost new. Now, this may seem like obvious advice to some of you guys, but believe it or not, it's not to a lot of people. So the point is, buy used, buy the pre-LCI if you can, so wait till the LCI comes out, get them for less. You will get it with some mileage. Like I said, mine had 36,000. That's nothing. Thankfully, these new BMWs and a lot of these newer luxurious cars, they do have more reliable engines, but regardless, you can still buy these cars used and have warranty. As a matter of fact, my X5, when I bought it used, it still had a year of warranty on it, and I even capitalized on it. I had my oil pump go bad, and it was all covered under warranty. So that's my first big piece of advice for you guys, is buy these cars used. Again, obvious to a lot of people, it's not obvious to most, believe it or not. The next thing I'd recommend doing is do what I did with the Supra and buy rebuilt. Man, it is hot in this car. Oh boy, all right, anyways, look, I know that one's gonna be a tougher pill to swallow because a lot of people don't want rebuilt cars, and I totally get it. I think when you buy a rebuilt car, you have to do it in the right way. You see a lot of these YouTubers online now rebuilding these cars, and it may seem easy, but it's really not. So you have to first be mechanically inclined, and then two, you have to be really cautious of the rebuilt car that you get. Like if you buy a flooded car, you're gonna deal with a whole bunch of issues. If you buy a car that has some engine damage, some frame damage, that's gonna be a lot more difficult. This car, thankfully, did not have that, but it was still declared as a write-off. So it was a better rebuilt title in that way. So if you can get lucky or really hunt for a good rebuilt car, you can honestly pay a fraction of what you'd even buy these cars for used. I paid $28,000 for the Supra. If you guys know Supras, these things used can go for like 50. The X5, I paid almost half for what I would a new car. The Supra, it's half of what a used car would go for. Now, like I keep on saying, rebuilt titles are a lot more sketchy. It's not like getting a used car that still has warranty. So I would recommend you being a little more mechanically inclined, because if something does go wrong, you can fix it yourself. Otherwise, it's gonna be a money pit. But let me just say this. No one looks at this car and thinks, oh, it's a Supra, but it's rebuilt, so it doesn't matter. People still go crazy over this car. Okay, look. I know most of you guys who clicked on this video probably care about this car because it's probably the car I used in the title and the thumbnail for a good reason. This G80 M3 was the one I bought in the stupidest way possible. I kind of contradicted myself and I bought this car brand new. Brand spanking new for $97,000. Yeah, don't do that. But what I will say is I still made this car make sense, and what I'm doing right now, what you guys are watching right now, made this car make sense. I'm about to fall. And that is making content. Yes, making content, YouTube videos, TikTok videos, whatever it is, you guys can monetize these cars. Now, this could be applied for any of these cars. You can buy a rebuilt car, you can buy a used car, and still use it for content. I bought the G80 M3 brand new, but there was still a way I was able to make it make sense by, again, making content. Now, look, a lot of people, including myself, think of making content, and I think of some teenager making some like weird prank video on TikTok. It doesn't have to be like that. You can do things that are educational, things that are valuable. You can just talk about the car. Whatever it is, there are people out there who are interested in it. I mean, look at me, look at you. I'm not a teenager, I'm not out here making viral videos or anything like that, but you guys are still watching and hopefully enjoying it. By the way, if you are, please drop the video a like, hit that subscribe button because it really does help me out and it does make, you know, owning my dream cars and sharing them with you guys a reality. So thank you guys in advance. But anyways, the point is make content with your cars because you can monetize them. And then again, this isn't official advice by any means, but there are tax advantages to that as well. So I'll say talk to your local CPA about that, but it makes these cars make a lot more sense. Now again, going back to the transparency thing, like I said, I paid $97,000 for this car after taxes and fees and all that and how much I put down, which I think was like $25,000. I still have a $1,400 car payment. That is a lot of money. If you guys didn't know, that thing is paid out right now. And then the Supra, because it was rebuilt, I did buy it outright as well. So this is the only car that I'm currently financing. $1,400 a month, guys. That is a buttload of money. Legitimately some people's mortgages, which is insane. But like I said, if you make content, you can make these cars make sense. So currently, is that a dirt bike? So currently, even though I have a $1,400 car payment, I pay nothing out of pocket because with my YouTube, with my affiliate marketing and all that type of stuff, it covers the car payment. Now let me just stop here and clarify. I am not getting this car for free. Yes, it is covering the car payment, but this is still work. Me out here on a Saturday filming these videos and editing them and uploading them and creating thumbnails and doing all this stuff, buying mods for these cars, it is still work and it is still an investment. It is a genuine job, but it's one that I love. So if you guys don't want to make content, if it doesn't interest you, don't even think about this one. But if it does interest you, it is going to be work. You have to put in the work and you have to be disciplined just like any other job. However, it can make owning these cars make sense. So just keep that in mind. I don't want people to think that, you know, you just make videos and you get a car for free. That is unfortunately not the reality. I put a lot of work into this stuff and I still don't get that many views. So it does take a lot. But hey, a lot of people are better at it than I am, so you could do better. And who knows, maybe even get a Lamborghini. Okay, look, I know a lot of you guys are watching this and you're thinking, well, yeah, that's some methods to get these cars cheaper or make some money off these cars. But at the end of the day, you need to have the money. So I know a lot of people will message me, you know, they're fresh out of high school, fresh out of college. I just don't think that's the reality. Unfortunately, social media kind of skews that a little bit. Again, my age starts with a 3. I rocked a Honda Civic LX for 10 years before I bought my 435, before I bought other cars. I waited till I was in a better financial spot. So you still have to have the money, but even once you have the money, you know, there's ways to do it that make sense, like I was talking about. So now when it comes to financing and getting these cars, that could be a whole other world in itself. And if you guys want, I can definitely do a whole other video about that. So just one point that I really want to get across in this video is don't focus on your monthly payment. So many people focus on their monthly payment. They say, oh, if I get the payment to $500, $1,000 a month, it's more affordable. It is not. You're probably paying more. These car salespeople will just give you a higher rate over a longer term. And if you guys look at how much you pay for the car versus how much you pay for interest, like you can buy a $100,000 car and then depending on how you finance it, pay $20,000 in interest, which is absolutely insane. So you paid $120,000 for a $100,000 car. Now that's just one example. So my point is, do it the smart way. Make sure you are ready. I'd rather you guys wait another year, save up a little more money and just put more down, or wait till you're in a better financial spot. For example, my X5, even though I could have rushed to buy it, I waited until I had a little more money. I put down $25,000 and then because I waited a little longer, after 10 months, I paid off the rest of the car. Like I said, I paid $45 for this thing, so it's $50 all in. So within a year, I basically bought it outright. Now I still finance it, yes, but there's also advantages to that. So there's still a reason why I did that. And I said I waited for it. If you guys watch my channel, you'll know that's true because, well, you know, I'll say we crashed the X3 and then I waited like a year. My wife drove the 3 Series, probably even more than a year actually, because I just wanted to make sure I was in a better financial spot to buy another car. So, like I said, we'll get into all that in another video. If you guys really want to see that, let me know down in the comments below. These again are just the ways that I went about it, but there's still other ways as well. So hopefully you guys found this helpful or entertaining in the slightest. If you did, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned because the next video, I really want to go into the money and the financing aspects of things because I think that's all very important as well. We'll actually break out the laptop and like go through some numbers. That's where my real nerdy side comes out. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, again, drop a like, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
If you don't listen that much, some of y'all don't listen at all. The same they be pushing your buttons.